Hello everyone, Derek Johnson with Tatango.com. Today I'm going to be talking about something maybe a little different than normal, which is how you cannot use text message marketing. As you've watched our videos most likely, you've seen a bunch of how you can use text message marketing. Today we're going to talk about how you can't use text message marketing. And this is specifically regarding what is known as SHAFT in our industry, S-H-A-F-T, it's an acronym. Essentially what you cannot include in a text message or even promote in a text message. And this is established by the CTIA and the wireless carriers, which essentially control all the short codes and the traffic. So you don't want to violate this rule, because then, as you'll see in a little bit, and I'll explain, you could have your short code suspended, which is never good. So let's jump into it. I'm looking here at the CTIA handbook, which is essentially the rules that the CTIA and the wireless carriers have come up with. And the violation here, it's very specific. It says the message or the campaign cannot contain or promote SHAFT, and that's an acronym. So S-H-A-F-T. So it's five things. I always remember it's one hand or SHAFT. So I'm going to count them down on my hand here. So we have sex, which is the S, hate, which is the H, alcohol, which is the A, firearms, which is the F, and tobacco, which is the T. So you have five different things that the CTI and the wireless carriers do not allow either in the message or to promote any of those things: sex, hate, alcohol, firearms, and tobacco. Five things. Pretty easy to remember and a pretty easy acronym as well. SHAFT. Just don't promote any of those things, or make sure messages don't contain any of those things. So let's also talk about the punishment if your short code actually, or your campaign, contains those things. So in the CTIA guidebook, there's actually a couple different severity levels of violation. So there's severity 0, 1, and 2. So there's 3 here. So 5 things you can't do, 3 severity levels. And 0 is the worst. That is like horrible punishment. That's the worst violation you can have. And 2 is kind of like, hey, you violated, but you got to fix it soon. Not so bad, just fix it. So, and then there's in between, obviously. So it's interesting to note that the violation, if your message or your campaign contains or promotes SHAFT, sex, hate, alcohol, firearms, tobacco content, that is a severity 0. And that's the only severity 0 in the CTIA handbook. So this is not something you want to mess around with. This is very, very important, and it's very serious. So I'm going to look in what happens in a severity 0 situation, because it's very important to understand how serious they take this. So they say a severity 0, the definition of a severity 0, and again, that violation is the only one that has a severity 0. The definition is extreme consumer harm. So they take this very serious. The cure date is immediate, so it says this needs to be cured immediately, fixed immediately. Now the penalties, these are pretty strict penalties, something you just don't even want to test out. So the CTIA, immediate registry suspension harm, and the carriers vary by case, but usually it would be immediate suspension or termination. So that's pretty intense. Immediate suspension means the short code suspended, you got to fix everything, then they may turn it on. Termination means the whole short code gets terminated. So you definitely don't want to ever land yourself in a severity 0 situation. And the only way you can land in a severity 0 situation is to violate the SHAFT promotion or content. So hopefully that helps you guys. There's a bunch of ways you can use text message marketing for retail, restaurants, contests, polling, chat, all really cool applications and fun things. But if you use one of those SHAFT to promote, or it contains one of those SHAFT situations, then you're most likely going to get in trouble. You're going to reach a severity 0 violation, which could get an immediate suspension of your short code, or it will be terminated. So my advice, just don't even try to use those types of campaigns. Don't promote, don't contain. Definitely stick to the things that the carriers and the CTA love to see on their network.